October 1939, Hitler and his army invade Poland and start the Second World War. America is fighting the Axis powers in a violent war that would rage on for years. A German physicist has found out how to split a uranium atom to create a bomb capable of unimaginable destruction. German Jew Albert Einstein escapes Germany and moves to America. His partner, Enrico Fermi, escapes the clutches of fascist Italy, and the two team up in America. They decide they must warn the president about the deadly possible bomb that could be in the hands of the Axis powers. Albert Einstein writes a letter to President Roosevelt suggesting that America start developing a nuclear bomb immediately. The president agrees reluctantly and begins his task force with a small amount of funding. Their job was to research and eventually develop an atomic bomb. The top secret mission would be given the code name the Manhattan Project. In early 1942, Fermi created the first controlled nuclear chain reaction. This was a major breakthrough, and the project was granted all the money it needed. They developed research centers in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and Hanford, Washington. The main assembly site would be in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Robert Oppenheimer was in charge of assembling the massive weapon. The project would spend over $2 billion in development and research. Although they did not even know they were, 120,000 Americans were employed in the Manhattan Project. Japan and Germany could not know about the project, so secrecy was a primary. Not even the Vice President Truman knew of the project before he came to be president. In the summer of 1945, the bomb was ready to test. The scientists dropped the bomb into the New Mexico desert from a 100-foot tower. The power was unimaginable. A blinding flash could be seen for 200 miles away, and windows and homes were shattered 100 miles away. The mushroom cloud reached 40,000 feet. The crater was a half-mile wide, and the explosion melted the sand into glass. The government told the civilians that the explosion was an ammunition drop. This would mark the beginning of nuclear warfare. The final product of the Manhattan Project was one test bomb and two usable bombs, named Fat Man and Little Boy. There remained two questions: if to use them and where to use them. At this point in time, Germany and its allies had already been defeated in Europe. The Japanese would not give up. They believed in honor and dying for their country rather than returning home in defeat and shame. They were already losing the ground war, but they would fight to the bitter end. The U.S. needed something big, abrupt, and sudden to end the war. There was one alternative they could take in order to finish the war. Operation Downfall involved bombing with traditional bombs, then a massive land invasion. It would most likely result in the deaths of more than 1 million Americans' deaths. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber flew over the Japanese industrial city of Hiroshima. The bomb was dropped and exploded 2,000 feet above the city to instantly turn 5 square miles of the city into dust. It instantly killed 80,000 people, and tens of thousands would die from radiation poisoning. This was not enough to force the Japanese into surrender. Another bomb was dropped days later on Nagasaki, killing 40,000 more. The US lied and told the Japanese that we had more bombs to drop on them until we would get our unconditional surrender. On August 15, 1945, the Japanese people heard their emperor's voice for the first time. He publicly surrendered over the radio, and the war was over. The decision was somewhat controversial, simply because hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed. The US rationalizes their decision by claiming that if we had to invade Japan, there would have been many more American deaths and Japanese deaths. The bomb probably ended up saving more lives than it ended. The bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki was the first time any nuclear weapon had been used in war and would provoke further discussion in the future about the ethics of using nuclear weapons. I believe the atomic bomb provided a fast, immediate way to end the war